In less than a year, the eyes of the world will be on Paris, host of next summer's Olympic Games. Before that, though, a national title and spots on this year's world team are on the line. Among the favorites, two teenagers, Asher Hong and Fred Richard. Both seem eager and ready to take the title. Also in the mix, a pair of returning Olympians, Yul Moldauer and Shane Wiskus, alongside all of America's best gymnasts as the road to Paris heats up this week in San Jose. NBC Sports welcomes you to the 2023 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships. Beautiful day here on the West Coast in the Bay Area of California. We're just about 50 miles from San Francisco, here in the third largest city in the state, San Jose, hosting the national championships, and yes, the best from around the country are here competing this week. Hi everybody, Terry Gannon along with Tim Daggett, the Olympic champ, and also here, more importantly, the 1986 U.S. all-around champ. Although he grimaced when I brought that up earlier today. It's been a while, I know.
A couple of years.
But they can't take that away from you, and that's why they're here this week, trying to win that national championship. And Tim, even more on the line, because it is, less than a year from the Olympics, and you've got the World Championship team that's going to be named by the end of the weekend.
You know, if you are a U.S. gymnast, there are a bunch of things you dream about. You dream about going to a World Championships, an Olympic Games, and winning a medal, but you also desperately chase this title. You want to be U.S. Senior All-Around National Champion. There's only one gymnast competing tonight that actually has that credential next to his name. That's Yul Moldauer, but it's more than just the national championships. This is actually the final trials for the world team that'll take place in a couple of months. And, you know, Team USA, they have not qualified yet for Paris, France.
And you want to be on that World Championship team going into an Olympic year, so that's important this week as well. A man who's won 4 U.S. all-around titles, John Roethlisberger, is with us. A little preview of 2 of the top young stars in the mix this week. John?
Thanks, Terry. You know, there's been a lot of great duos in history. Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Batman and Robin. My favorite duo, Han Solo and Chewbacca. Well, the U.S. men have their own dynamic duo of sorts in 19-year-old Fred Richard and Asher Hong, both coming off years where they put the gymnastics world on notice that they have arrived. Last fall, Asher Hong competing in his first World Championships at just the age of 18 years old, finished an impressive 6th all-around. Fred, more recently at the World University Games, finished 4th all-around against some of the best competition in the planet. And as similar as they are with their gymnastics greatness, on the outside, they seem very different. Fred is very upfront about what he wants and what he believes he can accomplish. There's an unapologetic confidence of sorts with Fred. He also has a big social media presence where he entertains and shares his journey with the world. Asher, on the other hand, has that same belief in his gymnastics, but tends to be a little more soft-spoken and even hesitant to talk about himself. You know, they kind of remind me of maybe the greatest duo in U.S. men's gymnastics history, Olympic champion Bart Conner and world champion Kurt Thomas. During their era, they lifted men's gymnastics to maybe the greatest success in its history. And I got to think, if the U.S. men are going to get back on the podium this fall at World Championships, and certainly in Paris next year, Asher and Fred are 2 names to remember. I got to think they're going to be a big part of it. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch this weekend and certainly in the years to come. Guys?
Let me add to the duos, John, Paul, Mick, and Keith, all right, just to get that in and state that for the record. We get underway on still rings with Asher Hong, who, among other things, went to the World Championships the first time, and Tim came in 6th at his first trip to Worlds.
It was unbelievable, almost surreal how calm he was. And he said throughout the championships that he had so much fun. Some of his teammates that have been around longer struggled at that competition. But as John said, this young man, Asher and Fred, they are phenoms, capable of doing some of the most difficult gymnastics being done in the world. It's a good event to start on, the still rings. Nice giant, right to a handstand. Does a super difficult dismount, but makes it look so easy. Double twisting double in laid out position. Small little hop. A really spectacular start for this young man.
2022 U.S. vault champ, Asher Hong. So the 19-year-old from Texas who goes to school, star for Stanford right down the road. Curran Phillips as well, one of the many stars from there. 23-year-old, originally from Naperville, Illinois. And we'll take you over to vault right now for his effort.
And you know, this young man, he has a good shot of making that world championship team and the Olympic team for Paris because he is so fantastic. He's great on vault, but he is unbelievable world champion level on parallel bars. Beautiful, clean, 2.5 twisting. Yurchenko, great start. He can stick that, but that's an excellent day one beginning for him.
You talk about parallel bars. He won it last year at the U.S. Championships, and you do start to think about where you fit in perhaps at a world team or the Olympics too.
Absolutely. And, you know, that parallel bar score that he can get would help Team USA immensely. He also is very good on high bar, where Team USA has really struggled over the last few years.
So wait for the numbers for him and for Asher Hong. A couple of stars at Stanford. All right, over to high bar. The 22-year-old, originally from Deerfield, Illinois, the Chicago area, Paul Juda, who's dealt with injuries, was really on a roll, helped the U.S. get an extra spot at the Olympics the last time around, coming back from injuries now.
Yeah, he has been on an injury roller coaster. Hyperextended his knee, had some back problems, also really damaged his fingers at the NCAA championships. Here's his biggest release right here. Perfect. Missed that in warm-ups. Now some high-flying releases. Such an elegant gymnast. And that right there. That is, you know, you talked about the injuries, and I mentioned it too. That's really his biggest liability. He sometimes, just for whatever reason, he cannot make it happen when it matters most. This skill is simple for him. He was trying to do it in a connection right into another skill. I don't know why his hands didn't stay around the bar. So he wanted to do this release combination right here, and that's very nicely done. But Terry, a fall is a full point deduction. He was third at the U.S. Classic just weeks ago and had a great competition. Gorgeous, but you cannot erase that one full point deduction. That is disappointing for this young man.
2 nights competition for the men and for the women, so he had the totals together. They matter for that, and the selection for the world team, 14.999. See that bonus there, which the U.S. men's program has added.
Yeah, and that will be factored in for the national championships. But if you want to know how complicated men's gymnastics is, for the world team, though, they'll throw those numbers out. They won't look at them.
To encourage them to try more difficult things on their routines. 14.65 for Curran Phillips, who started on vault. I'll wait for the numbers here. And a moment ago, that man, Ian Gunther, on parallel bars. 23-year-old from Houston also. Where does he compete?
Stanford.
There you go. You see a theme here?
Yeah. I think they have 11 gymnasts, I believe. A little bit of an error right there.
Tim, I know you're excited about this routine as much as I am because this guy does a dismount. I like to call it one of the better pieces of gymnastics in the world.
What's it called?
I think it's called the Roethlisberger.
There you go.
I've given him a hard time about it in the past. He better do
great.
it good.
It's right
That's
here.
all I gotta say. Oh no.
Oh boy. Talk about jinxing somebody there, John. That's really a shame. You know, right from the get-go on that routine, he was basically off in a bunch of spots.
I'm going to have to talk to Ian a little bit about it. He does it really good. He usually nails that. We're going to have to talk.
You can't blame it on John. It wasn't a jinx. It's not his fault.
Trust me, if Tim can blame it on me, he's going to blame it on me. That's fine. I can take it.
Take you over to vault now, and one of those names that fans know very well, Shane Wiskus, who was an Olympian in Tokyo, trying to get back to the Olympics again.
But he was left off the last world team. He and his coach, Syke Caesar, thought they had done enough to make that. Had to take a big break after that, kind of do a major reset. It's a 2.5. Oh, baby.
Ha!
That was fantastic. Gymnastics 101, fly high and stick the landing, and that is a risky one to try to stick like that.
It's early for that. He got to it already. It's amazing.
I got to give him props. That was beautiful. Pretty difficult vault. 2 flips in a laid out position with 2.5 twists. Nicely done. He's able to just find that floor, and what that's all about is patience. So easy to move your foot too quickly.
Didn't move on that landing.
Coach Sykes Caesar watching. You know what? That's like the worst thing in the world for a vault like that, because it's so easy to sit that down if you stick it. I'm sure he was a little bit petrified right there.
14-5, the numbers. So you got the yellow there, the green, yellow, red for excellent, good, below average scores. Just to give you a little idea, all Juda 13.2.
And you see that 7.8 execution with that 1-point fall? An 8.8. That's unheard of in men's gymnastics now. That is how clean and how good he is.
And over to still rings, Riley Loos, the 22-year-old from El Dorado Hills, California. Part of 3 national championships with the Cardinal.
Also an NCAA champion on this event, and he is just really strong in these 2 positions right here. It's called a Maltese, and then he pushes up like an elevator to a planche. And now this right here, inverted cross. Maybe a 1/10 of a point too high, I would say. And another very nice position, and he doesn't just hold it, he makes them look like it's not a struggle for him, which is very important. This is a great routine, a great start for him. Just got to put it to his feet. Rings is an event where the USA is a little weak. A guy like Riley Loos can help a lot. Dismount double-double. Hop backwards. Really nice job, but that slide right there, that's a full 3/10 of a point, Terry. More than 1 foot.
Last year, national championships, 10th in the all-around for Riley, and also 5th in this event, this apparatus, the rings.
So watch this first strength part. What is so hard is he is going to be in a low position. So you got gravity. It's pulling you down. You don't want to go up, but somehow he is able to push up into that planche position. And look at how flat he is, perfectly parallel to the ground. An inverted cross, maybe a 10th high.
I know what you're saying when you tell me that he makes it look easy and not a struggle. Everything on this apparatus looks like a struggle to me. It looks so difficult, man. Yul Moldauer now. Started the show telling you about him. He is the only man here who has won a U.S. all-around title. That was back in 2017. Also a part of the Olympic effort last time around for the U.S. in that 5th place team finish.
And like Shane, he was left off that world championship team, and he said he did not like that at all. Beautiful work right there. He was named as an alternate. One of his longtime teammates, Alan Bauer from Oklahoma, had that situation many times, and you'll ask him for advice. He said, don't let anybody know that you're mad about it. Just use it for motivation down the road. So far, this is an excellent routine. Very calm, beautiful position right there. Big dismount right here, double front with a half twist at the end. And no movement. Big time.
He loves it. What a start.
That was great. That's about as good as he can do I'm going to sound like I'm nitpicking here, but on the dismount, he lands with his chest down a little bit, which is a deduction.
That's your job. You're supposed to. Just over 14 for Riley Loos to open up here in first rotation of 6. Over the floor now, and the man who recently turned 29 from Baltimore, Donnell Wittenberg, a 5-time world team member, not only wants to get back there, but to the Olympics as well before he calls it quits in his career.
Yeah, he was going to retire after 2000, but decided to stick around. Really nice start right there. This is his 3rd shot on the Olympic front, trying to make an Olympic Games. Bunch of steps there and out of bounds. That's an additional deduction. You see the yellow flag go up, 1/10 of a point for that. Oh boy. Woo. That was really amazing that he was able to save that and put it to his feet. Donnell is not at his best, though. He tells me a little while ago he had an incident like Simone Biles. The twisties on floor got lost in the air, landed on his back and neck, and that's a mistake right there too. Was not supposed to do that.
Said he's gotten the twisties in the past, but able to get over them quickly, but obviously the physical aspect of that, the injury.
Oh. And he's got to hurry a little bit here. You heard that bell. He's got 10 seconds remaining. Full twisting double. Nicely done. Very, very hard routine, but a lot of hopping around out there.
Mentioned the 5-time world championship member, and back in 2015 won a bronze medal in this event, floor exercise at the World Championships.
Great first pass. Double twist, right into a double somersault. Very nice combination. Second pass, also a big combination, and he just was way over on that first skill. And that's quite a save. He doesn't get the height that you would typically want for that element.
Did he win it on vault that year? Maybe not floor exercise?
He did on vaulting, yes,
yeah,
bronze.
Exactly. Kind of a team bronze in 2014 as well, but still those goals right now to get back or get to the Olympics here at the age of 29. Moldauer 15.805 with bonus added in for parallel bars.
That is a giant, giant number. 15.805. Wow.
Yeah, he was pumped up when he left there, and he's still smiling. All right. Fred Richard, the 19-year-old that John talked about, so one of those young stars for the USA.
And you'll see why right off the bat on this event. High bar, I had the pleasure to watch this young man grow up. He's from the state of Massachusetts. 2 legendary Massachusetts coaches. Big releases. Gonna start with a Casina. Oh, gorgeous. He'll do it again, but this time keep his knees bent. Now here we go, watch this. Gonna try to connect. This is what Paul Juda came off the bar on. This combination right here. Excellent for Fred. Nice little new wrinkle, doing that full twist to one arm. Very nice strategy. Let's see if he gets right to the handstand. A little bit shy. That's going to be a 3/10 deduction. That one was excellent. This guy does not feel pressure.
Man, that is one exciting gymnast. Second in high bar last year at the U.S. Championships.
He is so much fun to watch. I've not encountered many people that were as confident in his abilities. But I'll tell you what, he doesn't come off in any way as cocky at all. He does the work. He does the work in the gym every single day. Beautiful. Full twisting double over the bar with a stretched position. Named a Casina, named after Olympic champion from Italy. There's another major release.
Oh,
look at that
had
one.
to adjust.
Yes, he did. it's what a kid like this does. He might have problems, but he is able to deal with it. Anything that happens, he stays calm.
NCAA all-around champ and the U.S. Junior all-around champ in 2021. And a star on social media, too, I might add. A lot of followers.
Yes, he is.
And really takes it seriously, too. On TikTok, Alex Orji, the quarterback at Michigan. So this one, a little competition.
It's awesome. So some of his videos are really, really very, very cool. He said he started doing really hard gymnastic stuff, but then the kind of simpler stuff was more popular and had the ability to go viral. So just doing a box jump.
Over 600,000 followers. University of Michigan star.
And he takes it seriously. As you said, Terry, he said, I'm already doing my career now.
Switches major to film, TV, and media, in part because of that, because he does love it. He said, that's my interest, too, and I want to grow the sport as well, make a contribution to the sport, which you can do here and you can do on social media. All right, 14.261 for Donnell Wittenberg on floor.
Yeah, it's actually a better number than I thought he was going to get. That 8.0 is pretty good on floor exercise. I thought he had some errors there, but so he definitely survived that one.
Open up here in the first rotation of 6 here. First night of 2 for the men and the women. Women are competing tomorrow night here in San Jose, and then eventually they'll wrap it up Sunday night, prime time on NBC. U.S. Gymnastics Championships that sets the table for the World Championships and eventually the Olympics in Paris next summer. 15.105, including the bonus for Frederick Flips on social media.
Yeah.
All right, so Fred Richard was terrific. So was the Olympian Yul Moldauer and his effort on parallel bars. We are underway with the competition, night 1 in San Jose. Back to remind you, the 2023 World Rhythmic Gymnastics Championships are underway in Valencia, Spain. World titles as well as qualification spots for next summer's Paris Olympics are on the line. Both the individual and group competitions. You can see it right here on Peacock. Here in the Bay Area of California, so the leader after the opening rotation, Yul Moldauer, who was sensational. Fred Richard, just saw him a moment ago in second, Asher Honk. So Curran Phillips, Wiskus, those are the names we expect to vie for the national title this week in San Jose. The 2023 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championship. The 2023 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships are brought to you by Core Hydration. Core Hydration believes that wellness is whatever works for you. Find your balance, find your core. By Prevagen. By Angie. Visit Angie.com to connect with skilled professionals for all your home projects. And by Xfinity, the Xfinity 10G network. The future starts now. One rotation in here, night 1 for the men at the National Championships. Yul Moldauer waving and smiling because he's in the lead right now. And he'll head over to high bar. Fred Richard's going to head to floor. Asher Hong. Those are the names that we would expect to see at the top of the leaderboard. John, you have more?
Yeah, this is my favorite part of the meet, Terry, where I try to get to explain gymnastics scoring. It's like when my mom made me eat my vegetables before I could leave the table. I guess I got to do it, but I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible for you guys at home. Gymnastics scoring is broken up into 2 parts. We're going to start with the execution part of the score. For every gymnast, it starts at a 10.0. And from that 10.0, deductions are taken for form breaks, falls from the apparatus, steps on the landing. Whatever's left is then added to the difficulty score. The difficulty score is the value of the 10 most difficult skills that the gymnast does. Each skill is given a letter value. Each letter value has a number attached to it. They add that together. That is the difficulty score. That's the basics, but we're going to make it a little more fun because USA Gymnastics has implemented a bonus system, which makes it even more difficult to follow. But each event, if you reach a certain difficulty level, as we look at Fred Richards' score right here, he reached a 6.3 on high bar. If you go to the chart that USA Gymnastics has made and you go to 6.3 on high bar and you look next to it, he gets a bonus of 0.705 added to that total. So in this case, for this championships, you're adding 6.3 plus 8.1 plus the bonus. That is his final score. There you go, guys.
You're out of breath. Well done eating your vegetables tonight.
I tell you what, man, I had to do it.
All right, so on to the second rotate. I want to pick your brain about that difficulty and what they've added a little bit. But first, Curran Phillips starting over on parallel bars. So this really a key part of the night for him.
Absolutely. He is world class on this event. I believe if he makes the world team and he has a great couple of days of competition, I think he's going to get a medal and could even challenge for the top spot because of these but he's struggled right there. These skills where he goes from his upper arms are so challenging and they are valued so high. Watch this one. Very nicely done. Good fight there. A little bit of a pause. He wanted to keep that moving just a bit. He actually fell on parallel bars a couple of weeks ago at the US Classic, but still won. That's how good he is. Dismount double front. Big hop forward. Very good, but I would say about 6/10 less good than he's capable of.
Competing in that and vault and high bar here in San Jose. Okay, Paul Juda, so I'm struggling on high bar. A moment ago, his effort on floor exercise.
Supporting me.
Needing a bit of a comeback.
Absolutely. No question. You can't fall even one time at the U.S. Championships and expect to be in the running to win this meet, that's for sure. But gorgeous gymnastics, just like that. Prides himself, as I said, on high bar, of being perfect, and sometimes that can cause him some problems. Gorgeous. And this is exactly how Paul Juda likes it. Not just no deductions, but aesthetic, except for right there. That easiest pass he does, and he takes a little slide backwards. And some of the prettiest flare work in the world. If we get to see him on the next event, Pommel Horse, it's just stunning to watch him. Dismount, full twisting, double somersault, and like we said, this was a little bit ago, but what a comeback routine for Paul Juda, exactly what he needed to do.
Any high-level athlete trying to be perfect all the time, that's a tough spot to put yourself in.
9:05 execution. That is one of the highest execution scores on floor I've ever seen.
How about the number for Curran Phillips on parallel bars?
Well, it's huge, 16.147, but look at down there, that bonus, 5.597, and he was supposed to do a little bit more, I believe.
This is what he finished. So he gave me a little celebration. Nedoroscik there with him, I think?
That is,
yeah.
Yes.
Who's a character. We've seen a number of celebratory dances here that have developed.
Yeah.
Bom dia.
Sixth place after that opening rotation, Colt Walker, the 22-year-old originally from Texas, another star from Stanford, been dealing with a back injury in this on vault.
And this was very nicely done for Colt. His biggest problem is his two key events that he has shined on since he was a little kid with the leg events, vaulting and floor exercise. The injury has made it so they are his most challenging.
It was right after the World Championships last time around in December. He's part of that 5th place finish for the U.S. men at the World Championships. But back pain, leg pain, bulging disc in his back.
2 down. 6 total. 6 total.
Are we doing this again? Are we counting how much we got
I guess
left?
they're adding. These guys from Stanford, they're good at math.
12 athletes from Stanford part of this. I mean, obviously 4 straight national championships. Loos, a moment ago on vault.
Also does a very big vault. Nicely done. And that's what USA Gymnastics is pushing. USA is weak on vault. They want those 5-6 vaults, and even the 6-0 vault, he gets 2/10 added to his score at the end.
All right, so Riley 14.502. Do you like that overall? Has it had the effect that they wanted it to have?
Well, I think so. I think it's helped a little bit. I think they could have started it a year earlier.
Taylor Burkhart now, well, look at him, 20-year-old from Colorado.
Very complicated vault right here. Half turn, half turn. Double full, oh, and a couple of hops, and you see he is outside of that border, and it wasn't just 1 foot. So every time you take a hop, that's a deduction. If it's more than a foot distance, it's 3/10 of a point. And if it's 1 foot over that line, it's 1/10, but he is way crooked.
Yeah, he was to the side initially.
Right from the start, 1 foot out, but both, that's another 3/10. They're really going to probably chop him down a little bit here.
Well, silver medalist, the NCAAs with Stanford, part of that team championship.
Anytime I get hairs bad. Should we redo it?
No, you got one chance at the celebration.
That's right. He's a great gymnast, though. Trained as a youngster at Yul Moldauer's gym. Trained with Yul. Does some of the coolest gymnastics out there. But does open himself up to a lot of deductions.
Science, Technology, and Society major at Stanford. Along with his teammates here, 14.005.
Come on, Bert.
And you see that penalties, 3/10, that is the deduction for going over those 2 lines.
So we continue here night 1 with Khoi Young, the 20-year-old, another young star, and another young star from Stanford, a rising junior. Helped the Cardinal earn their 4th straight team national championship.
And he is a factor because of this event and because of pommel horse. He did this better the other day than I've ever seen anybody do it. Oh!
Wow!
Unbelievable!
And again.
Oh my gosh. That was absolutely stunning. And that is the essence of gymnastics. Do the toughest stuff being done and make it look easy, and he does, because this is hard. Double somersault in a laid out position, and not 1.5 twists, but 2.5 twists, and kerpow! Just rocks the house on that landing. Look at the leg form too. Very excellent from the board to the table. That's so unusual. This vault has to go 9.5 or higher execution score. I hope the judges give this away. Coach Tom Galimi right there. Head coach of Stanford for many years. Has turned that program into a powerhouse. 4 straight NCAA titles. And they did it. 9.6 execution score. That was about the highest I thought they would go. I'd have gone 9.7, but
second in the all-around recently at the Classic, second in vault, and having a sensational season and start to the U.S. Championships. Asher Hong now.
And so this vault
is huge.
Yes, it's huge. It's even harder. Hardest vault being done competitively in the world today, and only a few do it. 3 flips. Oh, and that was very nicely done. He struggled on this the other day in podium training. He told me that it was so weird being in his dorm room the morning of podium training and then just driving in a car, getting here. Said he didn't have the right mentality, but he sure did right there. And this is what helps Asher so much. 3 flips with a full twist. This vault has a 16.0 starting value. We just saw Khoi Young. That is a 5.6 start value. This 4/10 higher, and he'll add the bonus on top of it. Going to be a monstrous number.
Getting used to it too. At the Core Hydration Classic recently. Take a look at the Prevagen memorable moment, and worth a look right here.
Absolutely. 3 flips all the way around, adds that full twist, somehow is able to put his feet on the ground. That is just unthinkable to do. Amazingly challenging, and wow, what a great one.
Prevagen memorable moment. Normally, it's so impressive in real time, but when you slow it, it might even be more impressive.
Yeah.
His positions in the air, that's incredible. 15.455, the number for Asher Hong, one of the favorites here. Yeah, more on Asher Hong, John?
Yeah, a lot of talk about Asher Hong, and rightfully so, but he's not the only Hong competing here at the U.S. Championships. His brother Xander is competing in the junior division. In fact, a couple of weeks ago at the U.S. Classic, Asher won the all-around, and so did his brother Xander in the junior division. Well, Xander competed earlier today. He currently sits in 3rd place in the all-around. What a story it would be if brothers were to both win national championships here. It would be quite a story.
That's not the entire story either, is it?
No, there's actually another brother, Kiefer, who is also a gymnast and very good. And, Asher told us that his dream is that all 3 of them are on the floor at a major competition at the same time. He said we'd have the Hong Dynasty then.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Wow. You talk about an athletic family. And guess what? The family's here. So you see Xander obviously competing in the junior level, but also the parents are here, grandparents are, they're all here watching.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is where Asher is now. He's in the Bay Area at Stanford.
All right, take you over to the leader after the opening rotation. High bar now for Yul Moldauer. Great start on parallel bars, now trying to follow it up. You talked about him in the World Championships and not being a part of it. It's not just some athletes will say, well, yeah, it's motivation now trying to. No, it is a big part of what drives him right now.
Yeah, he said he was angry. He was so disappointed in himself. And his teammate at the University of Oklahoma, Alan Bowers, I think he was an alternate like 3 times. Just mind-blowing. This event, Yul has to survive, though, and that right there is a big deduction. 3/10 because he didn't get to a handstand, possibly even 5. And now he's got to do his release skills. Here we go. Trying to do a hard one right here. Got it. Yul's great everywhere, but if he struggles anywhere, it's on this event, on high bar. Just wants to survive. Don't know what he's going to do here because he's capable of doing a triple twisting double layout. Nope, not today. Told me he'd do it at least 1 time here at the championships, and that step backwards on a full twisting double layout, that's going to leave a mark in his soul for a little bit. I can tell you that.
From experience?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Because that dismount is so easy for him. He's capable of doing 2 more twists on it. Nice release. Full twisting double back over the bar. A little bit sloppy with form.
So what happens when you're in that position and you don't do nearly, you're spotting the floor, you're not feeling it in the moment?
Oh, there's no question he knew that he wasn't going to do it there. He had told me before the competition that he wants to do the triple twisting double layout 1 time here, not twice. He didn't know which day he was going to do it on. No.
Gotcha.
He was a little bit rattled from the beginning of the routine, kind of really missing one of those handstands.
Mentioned his U.S. all-around title back in 2017, but also a two-time NCAA all-around champ, star of Oklahoma. Shane Wiskus, rotation 2. A moment ago, his effort on parallel bars.
The U.S. is really pretty darn good on parallel bars. So many guys that can do very challenging exercises, but also look beautiful. Nice lines. But you talk with this young man, and you know, a dream came true for him. He went to the Olympic Games, and he said it was a dream come true. But coming back with nothing in his hand, no medals, he said that was very, very hard to deal with. He says from now until Paris, he is going to do everything in his power to stand with his brothers on the podium in the team finals. Great knees, great toes, great line. Dismount right here. Double front. And that is a big problem right there. Just kind of, you know, he took the risk on vaulting. He did a forward landing, and I said that it's really scary to do a forward landing and stick it because you can sit down just like that.
Coming back from a knee injury is Wiskus. All right, over the floor, and Fred Richard, who has had a sensational start tonight, goes over on high bar.
Really difficult mount. That was a 2.5 twisting double. You see the yellow flag go up. Got a 3/10 step and 1/10 for going out of bounds. Gorgeous. Those are called air flares. The break dancer stole the flare from us, and then we stole that air flare. Very, very cool. All about landings. Very good. Just a slide back. Right on the line of being 3/10 of a point deduction. Oh, and that is a big deal, and the flag goes up as well, and it might have been both of his heels. He looked completely composed on high bar, but right here, he looks like he's doubting himself. Really nice dismount, full twisting double, but a 3/10 hop.
So the man who came in 4th in the all-around last year at the U.S. Championships and 3rd on this apparatus, floor exercise, Fred Richard. Not quite the follow-up to the start.
He made the decision to go to the World University Games just a couple of weeks ago, way over in China. A lot of people thought it was probably a little bit too close to this competition, but he said, I want to go be on the floor with the best gymnasts in the world, Daike Hashimoto. And he did a fantastic job. Actually was 4th in the all-around.
Yeah, he said he really went there to learn, and it's exactly what he did. Now he comes here to win after that experience. How about the number for Yul Moldauer? 12.85. John?
Yeah, Tim talked about this during Yul's high bar routine, and this is something that the judges look for that you might not notice right off the bat if you're watching back at home, and it's handstand positions. And I heard Tim's voice get real high right at this point because Yul does a skill, and it's right here. It's called a full Takamoto, and it's supposed to go to handstand. And when it doesn't, like that right there, that is a major deduction. You can see the 45-degree angle. That is a half point. And it looks good to the amateur eye, if you will, but when you miss the handstand by that much, deductions really add up quick, right, Tim?
Oh, absolutely. And he also did another mistake. He's bending his knees on it. He has always bent his knees on those skills. He's made vast improvement, but you get in a super pressurized situation, sometimes those things come back.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting, Tim, because high bar for Yul is not his best event. But in a weird way, it's so important for him to get a good score on there to give himself that shot for the world team or Olympic team, because you don't want to put somebody up there that can't get at least a serviceable score, right? And so for him to go up there, I think it was big. He did the full twisting Kovacs, the Coleman, but he's got to get that score up a little bit, I feel like, to just add that comfort level to Team USA, right?
Yeah, like world finals, team finals, Olympic team finals. It's 3 up, 3 count, and that score is a routine that USA does not want at the Worlds or the Olympic Games next summer.
So Fred Richard on floor exercise 14.064. And the penalties and the out of bounds. All right, a moment ago, the 19-year-old from Pennsylvania and Penn State, Josh Karns on pommel horse.
Yeah, I watched this young man grow up as well, and just such a talent. In gymnastics, you want to be quick twitch, and he is about as quick as you can get. He is battling a back injury that just kind of came out of nowhere. This was a little while ago. That was a mistake, obviously, when the legs came apart, but also didn't do exactly what he was planning. He told me his back was just seizing up. Had a real hard time over the past few days, getting a good amount of sleep. Not a disaster, but not good for this young man, but he's got a very bright future, I'll tell you that.
Also competed at the World University Games that you mentioned just a moment ago recently in China, 12.95. Yeah, he was talking to his coaches. He was really questionable coming into tonight with the back problems, and so he's out here competing, giving it a go. Asher Hong, one of the stars here through 2 rotations here for the men. Night 1 in San Jose. So 2 rotations in the books here. Night 1 for the men at the U.S. Championships. Asher Hong, the leader. Fred Richard in second. Khoi Young rounding out the top 3, just ahead of Yul Moldauer and Riley Loos in the top 5. So Asher Hong moves over to parallel bars. Richard over to pommel horse. There you go, just under 2 points separating the top 5. The reigning champ, unfortunately, is not here to compete this year, John.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking not to see Brody Malone out here on the floor. In my opinion, really one of the best U.S. male gymnasts ever, and his best was yet to come. This past March at the DTB Cup in Stuttgart, he peeled off the high bar and dislocated his knee. Since that time, he's had 3 surgeries on that knee, and most recently in July, he actually started doing gymnastics again, which is a great sign. And the doctors told him that if everything goes well, structurally, he should be able to do floor and vault by next spring, maybe June even, which you obviously know that the Olympics are right behind that. So time is of the essence for Brody Malone. You know, 10th all-around at the Tokyo Games, 4th all-around at the last World Championships, won the gold medal on high bar. He is such a big factor for this team, for the U.S. men. And Tim, I know you and I talk about it a lot. You look at the guys on the floor tonight, like Yul and Asher and Fred in particular, and then you think, oh my gosh, the U.S. men are coming. This is their chance to get on the podium, and to lose a Brody Malone, what a gut punch for the team, for Team USA men. But I'll tell you what, I believe in that kid. I've talked to him, and he has got the will to get back. Tim, you made an incredible comeback. I think Brody Malone is going to be in the all-around next summer, and it's going to be a heck of a story to follow.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, initially, doctors told him, forget about floor and vault. There's no way you can do that. He came back. He's actually training in Florida now. Came back to Stanford, saw his doctor just the other day, and the doctor looked at his knee, said, you know what? I think you're going to be able to do it. I think you're going to be able to do floor and vaulting. And, you know, if you are a gymnast like Brody Malone, you want to contribute on a lot of different events, but you're an all-around gymnast. That's what you want to do. It's part of your DNA. It's your identity, and I think you'll be there too. And you know, I'm going to love watching it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and you're going to understand what he's going through, Tim. And I tell you what, doctors were put on this earth for gymnasts to prove wrong. And I mean, gymnasts do it all the time, and I'll tell you what, Brody Malone's going to do it. I really believe it.
If anybody can, he can. Just his attitude, too. You knew it right away when he started to compete against the best in the world at the World Championships. You know right away when you watch a talent like that this is special. And wish him all the best in the comeback. Early 2024, he's trying to come back and compete.
Going to be fun. Absolutely.
Two-time and reigning U.S. all-around champ. Not defending. Can't compete this time around here in San Jose.
You know, back to the meat at hand here. The guys at the top of the standings, we talked about Asher and Fred and Yul. You know, there hasn't been a lot of championships, you guys, that have really come down to the wire, where you have even one or, even two guys battling it out. It seems like the Sam McCullochs of the world would run away with it. We're looking at an opportunity here with some of these guys, and you see Khoi Young up there as well, that this might come down to the last dismount, and that bodes well, I think, for Team USA as well. They got some depth to work with and some great athletes.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And it's lately it's been a blowout. The guy that won the U.S. National Championship, he does it easily, but I don't think that's going to be the case this time around.
Well, you had Sam McCulloch owning the title.
Yep.
And now Brody Malone has won the last couple, and this may be wide open this time around with the young stars. What is it, 2014, the last time the U.S. men's team won a medal, stood on the podium at the World Championships. But throughout that time at the Olympics or the Worlds, they haven't been lower than fifth. So they're trying to make that jump back to where they once were, and obviously to where you once were, on top of the podium.
And it is possible. It is possible with the youth that's coming up. Athletes can say that they believe that something can happen. They say it a lot more than they actually know it and believe it. But I believe that these guys know that they can get on the podium, and they know that if they have the opportunity to put a little bit of pressure on the main teams.
Until you say it to yourself, you can't believe it.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't do it. Cameron Bock, 24-year-old from Tustin, California, was a star at Michigan here on pommel.
Had a very good U.S. Classic as well. Fourth in the all-around. Very classical gymnast. Nice form. Keeps a very straight body on his circle elements. Little bit of leg separation there. But the judges like this look on horse. He does extremely well execution-wise. Nicely done, right to the handstand. He won a big title. He won the 2022 Winter Cup all-around title. Nice one pommel work. You got to get your hand underneath your back. If you're not flexible, if you're a little bit bulky, it makes it much more challenging, but he deals with it really well. You want to fly up to a handstand, just zoom right up there. He does that, in my opinion.
12th in the all-around at the U.S. Championships last time around.
He's actually much better than that, though. Capable of much better gymnastics than that.
All right, over to vault. The 18-year-old from Georgia, Chase Davenport-Mills, getting set. Johns Creek, Georgia, born in Atlanta.
It's great that the juniors can be on the floor at the same time as the seniors. Yurchenko-style vault. Very nice, very clean. Double twisting, laid out Yurchenko. Just the smallest of hops. So that one right there, that's a 1/10 of a point hop. It should be. It's almost automatic that if the feet move at all, they take 3/10, but if it's less than a foot, really beautiful form in the air, good body position. Yeah, that's a 10.
There you go. Ohio State, third in the all-around the junior level last year at the championships. Numbers for Bock, 13-9 for pommel.
Yeah, that is a very good score on pommel horse, I'll tell you.
Jump over to parallel bars now. Riley Loos, who's in the top 5 after 2 rotations. So he's right there, a little less than 2 points off the lead.
The thing for Riley is he's done 2 of his very best and most important routines. Still rings and vaulting. And to be honest, in my opinion, I thought they were a little tough on him, on both of them, especially still rings. Assistant coach at Stanford, Grant Breckenridge, former national team member. Really tricky to go right to that 1 bar and then do a full spin down. It's called a Healy. High difficulty. It's a lot of extra tense for that. Another full spin. The only thing I'm worried about with this exercise so far is when he did those long swings, they're called giants. Definitely looked to me like he was hitting the ground. Good fight on the landing, pulled that around, double front. You're not allowed to touch the ground, and you know, when you're taller, it makes it much harder, and for a gymnast, he's a little bit taller. To be perfectly honest, though,
he's about 5'5", by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Just be specific about that.
So these are peach baskets right here. Very nicely done, underbar. Now watch this giant skill. If those feet hit the ground, it's a deduction.
Yep.
They definitely do. And they are keying in on that, and he doesn't just do it once. He did another skill right after that.
All right, so Donnell Wittenberg now. We saw him on floor exercise earlier. Over to still rings. 3-time champ.
He is just ridiculously strong. He also has checked off one of the bucket list items for a gymnast is get a skill named after you in the rule book, Dakota points. He did a triple pike in a competition. It bears his name. He doesn't compete it right now. It'll be a long time before we see another one of them, I gotta tell you. Beautiful position. Every strength move needs to be held for a full 2 seconds. Right here. Perfectly flat to the ground, opens his wrists so that the judges can see that he does not have them on the rings, does not do a false grip. Double laid out. Oh,
yes.
And that was spectacular right there.
So if he does make it to Paris, he's bringing back the Wittenberg, though.
He did say that. He did say that. That was really good. And you know what? A lot of times he doubts himself a little bit on these landings. Swing skill, can only do 3 strengths in a row. So let's watch this. See how he opens his hand up right there. That's to telegraph to the judge, my wrists are not on the rings. It's a false grip deduction that you get if they're on there. This is the hardest dismount contemporary-wise being done in the world today. His triple back is harder in the pike position. But that right there, double laid out, and nobody does it any better than that.
Reigning champ in this event last year at the championships. Won his 3rd rings title.
That's big time, though. We need that.
Listen in as much as we can here. Coaches to athletes, 14-3. Riley Loos for parallel bars.
Yeah, not bad. That's a pretty good score for him. If he could get rid of those touches on the floor, that would help a lot. They're kind of built-in deductions for him.
Blake Soon, the 24-year-old from San Antonio on parallel bars a moment ago.
And Blake is also just fabulous on this event. The USA has an abundance of riches on this event. Little bit funky there, though. Had to bend his hips. That was great. Nicely done. Little bit of an arched position right there. And he does not hit his feet at all on that. Judges take note. Dismount, or excuse me, that's his release. Jumping the gun here. Nice double pike. You don't see that as often as you used to. It's a lower difficulty value than those double fronts.
Second place finish on this event recently at that U.S. Classic in the Chicago area, but known for this apparatus. 15.094. Blake Soon. Oh, by the way, from Stanford. It is amazing the program they've built there.
Yeah, it's a dynasty, and the way it looks, if you take a look at their roster and what's coming down the pike, it's bad news for everybody else.
All right, Yul Moldauer in 4th place through 2 rotations. Moment ago over on floor exercise.
He can be so beautiful on this event. Oh boy, and that, I did not see this when he was going, and that's a big step for Yul Moldauer on floor. His first major senior competition was the Worlds in 2017, and he won a bronze medal on this event right here. He made the Olympic final in Tokyo, and he actually fell on those circling skills, which was unbelievable. He told me never in his life had he ever done anything like that. The tumbling was great.
Yeah, he was 6th on floor in Tokyo at the Olympics.
But he had a complete fall. Triple twist. Well, this was okay for Yul. It's not what he is capable of doing. He can do a routine all day long and not move at all.
Even 14, the number.
Hope to see you guys on Saturday.
Yes, you will. We'll be here.
A lot of good gymnastics going on.
That's his own brand right there. I don't know if you could see that. He's got a design, the graphic YM for Yul Moldauer. Pretty cool.
Khoi Young, the 20-year-old from Maryland, competes for Stanford. Coming up next here, parallel bars in the top 3.
So he has done one of his very best events. Parallel bars, high bar, floor exercise, he's good, but he's not as dynamic as, say, he is on vaulting. That vault was amazing. Or hopefully we'll see him on pommel horse. World class on that event. Beautiful giant swing. He told me his goal is to be able to contribute in a big way on pommel horse and on vault for Team USA and be a trusted competitor on the other events. Somebody that maybe isn't going to be in the team finals, but can step in at any moment, double pike, small little hop on the landing, very clean.
You obviously know your best events. When you look at the rundown and the start list, do you prefer to go on your best events first or later?
I think he's got it perfectly because he did one of his best events right off the top. He did vault, but he's going to go to high bar, floor exercise, and then he's going to be on horse. And that is his absolute best event score potential-wise.
Gotcha. Did get off to a great start here, and as we said, in the top 3 through a couple of rotations. So we wait on that number.
He's happy just to be here too, though, because he has really been battling a lot of wrist injuries. They have prevented him from training at all.
How many events, when you look back at, were you 100% healthy in your career?
As an elite gymnast?
Yeah.
0.
There you go.
I tell people all the time, I never felt better in my life than I did for the 84 Olympic Games, but I never felt worse either. Mentally, emotionally, I was ready, but my body hurt more than anything.
All right, Asher Hong now next up on parallel bars, the leader heading into this third rotation. But we mentioned the injuries because they're significant, but everybody is dealing with some sort of injury or ache and pain.
Absolutely, but his actually take him completely out of the gym for weeks at a time. He says he really has to manage himself extremely well. He communicates with his coach, Tom Galimi, says, you know, this is really scaring me. You need to pull back a little bit. Beautiful transition from the end to the middle. This is tricky. Done very well. Did not pause on that single bar at all, which is exactly what you want to do. Spectacular routine thus far, and holy mackerel. Let's go! Let's go is right. That was going, man.
He lets you know if it was good or not.
That was a lot more than good in my book.
Extra little pressure. It's fun to compete near home and have family here, but there's some extra pressure too. 15.261 still rings for Donnell Wittenberg.
And that 9.0 execution score, once again, those are unheard of. Based out of a 10.0, and those judges, they can find deductions everywhere.
One.
Typically, the gymnasts are...
Fred Richard, moment ago, his effort on pommel horse. In second through a couple of rotations.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
That is a mistake right there. Cannot step down to the end of the horse. Nice. Russians in the between the pommels, which makes it so much more difficult. This is a very hard routine. I heard his coach yelling to him, if you're struggling, if you're fighting, remember technique. Go back to technique, and he is struggling right there, and he did that extremely well. Got back to a good, straight, big circle. Good fight on that handstand dismount. Certainly can be better, had that built-in deduction right off the top, that scissor to a handstand.
That shot we had of him a moment ago, he was out of breath. That's why. There's a good reason for that. 8.2 the execution, 13.8 overall number.
It's 5.7. I'm missing 1 8. I got 9 skills, no 10.
Breaking down the numbers there with his coaches. Asher Hong, 14.75.
Yeah,
big number. Beautiful
Big.
job. 8.75, good execution score.
You're not done. Come on, swing. Come on, go. Confidence. Let's go. Come on.
So yes, you're competing against them, but you got teammates out here you're cheering for. All right, Curran Phillips, last event of the night for him. Over to high bar. And the last man to go in this rotation over on the bar.
And he has really improved on this event. The problem is, if you get really good on high bar, you gotta let go of the bar a lot. You gotta fly through the air, and when you let go of a piece of equipment, hopefully it's there when you come around to catch. He does a lot of big releases.
Sam McCulick, now an assistant coach, saw him in a moment ago. A 6-time all-around U.S. champ. And high bar, such a big part of his career.
It absolutely was. Won a medal on it. A bronze. He's capable of doing a very big release. Let's see if he goes for it. No, just with Tkachev straight, no twisting. Big releases right here.
Wow.
Nice. Another one, beautiful. Combination done extremely well. He ripped off the bar last year at Nationals, and that is a monumental mistake right there. Oh my goodness. And he battles with a back injury that is so problematic, and that skill right there is the thing that bothers his back the most. He can't compress, he can't bend his body well enough. Oh, that's a shame. You put your feet on the bar. Huge deduction. He did a skill that's not a skill.
All right, so we'll get that number in a moment. It won't be as high as he had hoped for. Over to pommel horse and Paul Juda now. Chicago area guy was very quick to point out, I'm a Cubs fan, not a Sox fan.
This, in a lot of ways, if it goes well, can be as pretty as it gets. Does beautiful flare work. Just huge extension. Don't know what's going on right there. That was a little bit, wow, that was a great fight. Kind of doubted himself, I think. Did some extra circles before that handstand position. Shouldn't be deducted for it, but I'm sure he did not plan to do that. You do all these flares too. It is exhausting physically. Oh boy, and that was money in the bank. Big routine for Paul Juda on horse.
And better as the night goes on here in San Jose.
Wow.
Get that number in a moment. Earlier on high bar, one of the top names, Shane Wiskus. His effort here in rotation 3.
He tells me that he has really gotten all of his release skills down. Struggled a lot on this first major one. Let's see if he does it in the laid out position. He does.
Oh.
And once again, off the bar. It is so tricky, very hard to do this. We saw him at a championships do this grab, hold on with one arm. You remember that, Terry? And swing around the bar. He doesn't get his head up early enough. He doesn't lift his head towards the end of the skill so he can see that bar. He's just kind of reaching out with his hands. Got another one right here. This one should be in, no, he's doing it again. Got it. Do this one in tuck. Very nicely done. So if he had not repeated that element, he would have the 1 point deduction for the fall, and he would lose a ton of difficulty value in the routine. A little bit shy on one of those handstands by more than a little.
I remember back in 2021 championships, he was in second place in the all-around, had trouble on the high bar routine, fell all the way down to 9th. And the number 12.55 as he moves on to warm up over on floor. So a disappointing effort there. Paul Juda, though, 14.352 for pommel.
And great number.
Better here in rotation 3 for him. And how about Asher Hong? He's been terrific. One of the stars, one of the favorites coming in with his family in attendance, watching him here in San Jose. That's pretty cool. So midway through, after 3 rotations here of the 6, Asher Hong's been the star so far. Colt Walker, though, a big move in that last rotation up to the 2nd spot. Khoi Young, Fred Richard, and Riley Loos rounding out the top 5 here. Remember, this is night 1 of 2 for the men. Tomorrow night it'll be the women. Then they round it out Sunday night, prime time. Back in San Jose, the 2023 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships, and about to start rotation for Asher Hong leading the way here. There's your top 5. Yul Moldauer not in the top 5 at the moment. One of the top names competing. See Riley Loos checking in at number 5 over to high bar. That's where he will be here in the 4th rotation.
And Riley has actually improved on high bar quite a bit. He'll do a bunch of high-flying stuff, really tricky and finicky type of skill. A laid-out Tkachev with a full twist called a Lukin, named after the great Valery Lukin. That one's easy for him. Comes right here. He's got to be quick off the bar. Very nicely done. Pretty good handstand position afterwards. Now wants to do some high flying and nice one-arm giant. Got to go right to a handstand. And that, once again, very similar to what we saw from Yul Moldauer, and he got destroyed on high bar for not getting to that handstand position. They were both at least 3/10 of a point, and I would say the first one was 5/10 off for being so short from that handstand.
You've really got me concentrating on all the time spent in the air now on high bar.
Yeah.
All right, over to vault in 8th place through 3 rotations, Donnell Wittenberg.
He's actually done a very good job. And he is capable of doing the same vault we saw from Asher Hong, that Rise Guang that is just super difficult. But as we mentioned earlier, kind of had a fall on floor exercise with the twisties. Neck and shoulders, back has been giving him trouble. Didn't feel perfectly ready, but he did a great job on that vault right there. It just starts about a 1.5 points lower than it would have if he had done the harder vault. He told me last week he was going to do it. He's going to do it both days. He thought he needed to do that for the selection committee to think that he was valuable enough. He went to the World Championships and he had a huge mishap, taped his ankle, and never does that. His foot slipped out on the board, and he basically just jumped over the table, which, was supposed to be a giant number, not just for him, but for Team USA.
We watched those landings. How much does that take out of you? That can't feel good.
Oh, gosh, yeah. It doesn't feel good at all.
Keep it right here on vault. Michael Gero, the 21-year-old, Penn State, originally from Michigan. First look at him tonight.
Also a big social media guy. A lot of these guys, they say it helps them. They say it's not a distraction. It actually is something that's positive. They look forward to it. It reminds them of all the fun. Sometimes you're training so hard, it's not as fun. But you can go in and put a perfect video together. That one won't be in his good reel. That might be not a blooper reel, but big, big step backwards. Very popular vault. USA Gymnastics, though, really encouraging harder vaults than this. Donnell Wittenberg's capable of doing one. We saw Riley Loos do one. Khoi Young do a much harder vault as well.
So there's the number for Loos from high bar, even 13.
Now you see that 7.8.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
He lost 8/10 of a point, in my opinion, for those handstand positions.
Good work, come on. Let's go now. Come on. Fight for it. Yeah.
Gero from vault had the problems with the landing there. There's a penalty, 13-6 the number.
Come on, Josh.
Keep it here on vault. Josh Karns up next.
And this is an event that's going to be challenging with that back. We talked about he injured it while he was here. Didn't really even know what happened. Didn't have a hard time sleeping. He does a very difficult vault. Triple twist with a double flip. Kaz double fault. Really nicely done. Doesn't look maybe as hard as some of the other vaults that are done, but that is very, very difficult and done extremely well. Just a small little hop.
Over to pommel horse. Big chance now for Yul Moldauer, maybe, right here?
Absolutely, but he's got to get through the routine. Every pommel horse routine is risky. Pommel horse and high bar, the two riskiest events. He's very good here if he does what he's capable of doing. Nice body position thus far. He'll go to his flare skills now. Got to stay big and open. Excellent so far. The biggest thing for him is, does he have gas in the tank for this dismount right here? Little clunky, but pretty darn good. Gonna be a good score for Yul Moldauer.
Always run out of gas at the end of the pommel horse routine, right?
Oh my gosh, that is so exhausting. So many super difficult elements, and the type of elements he does, they are not just like a one-turn type things. They're things that are done in combination to be counted as only one skill. Yeah. That's exhausting.
No, did you feel that out though? Like, it was so calm. You just swung out, you didn't even need a hop. Step.
Over the floor now, and Shane Wiskus next up. In 11th place coming into this rotation, trying to make a move.
Yeah, it has not been a great day thus far. And remember, it's not just the national championships. Usually what would happen is these guys would go home for a week or two. They would gather together at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, have a training camp where there would be another selection camp. But that is not happening. Everything is contingent upon these 2 days of scores.
And theoretically, they're trying to take the highest scoring team, correct?
Absolutely. The 5 gymnasts that make up the highest scoring team. So it's not essential to be second or third in the all-around. If you've got some really big events like Khoi Young, for example, has that vault and pommel horse that are certainly going to put him in the conversation. Beautiful. Can really make this look so elegant on floor. Dismount triple full, and that was fabulous. That's the Shane Wiskus we're used to seeing.
One more point on the team selection. They put it into a computer program, and there are a number of different ways to tabulate that. And in the end, they're trying to pick the highest scoring team. But it goes to your point. You don't have to be great in the all-around to make the team.
Right. And in the team finals, they've got 5 athletes that are on the squad at the Worlds of the Olympic Games, but only 3 gymnasts go up on each event.
Burkhart now underway here on high bar.
He's capable of doing some really crazy stuff as well. Nice. 3 releases in a row. Actually did not do. That's very nice. Full twisting front somersault. Did not do his first major release, which is probably a good decision for him. Tends to lose more in deductions than he gains for it. Very strong routine and a good stick for Taylor Burkhart. And the thing that's good about that type of routine is he doesn't have those skills that are so challenging to go right to a handstand.
Gonna yell again? No. Okay. Number for Shane Wiskus on floor exercise, which was good. That execution number in even 9.
That's spectacular.
So the number on pommel horse for Yul Moldauer, 14,229.
Support us. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's a good number on pommel horse, but I would say that they probably took a full 3 to 4 tenths of a point on that dismount. Didn't have great shapes, kind of looked a little sluggish getting up to that handstand.
And Yul, don't worry, we're here, we're staying, we're gonna watch. You sold us. Fred Richard now on Still Rings.
Strength moves. Gotta hold them for 2 full seconds. That's a flange. Nicely done. A Maltese, and that was not a full 2 seconds, Terry. A little bit short in that hold. He's just got super difficult routines everywhere, but still rings. Nice flange right there. Not one of his stronger events. I don't know what they're going to do with that skill because he did not hold it, and the position itself wasn't great either. Double-double, but exclamation point with the dismount. Last thing the judges see.
Let's go!
Great finish, at least, to that routine.
Talking about.
So you got to imagine the judges, right? So they're scoring this routine, and they're taking deductions throughout the exercise. He sticks that landing right there, and they go back over their notes and they go, was that 3? Was it 2? What,
They really do that?
They can, yeah, it can make a difference.
3rd place after the 3rd rotation, so right there, the top 3, Khoi Young, high bar net.
Another one that Khoi just really wants to survive on. There we go, those handstand type elements, pretty good. At least a 1/10 of a point, but I don't think any more than that. That one's gonna be 3 though. Gotta be exactly vertical, his release. Nice laid out Tkachev. Really just wants to survive this routine. Put it to the ground right here. Small little hop. Very good. A dependable routine that Team USA could use if they had to, if somebody got hurt or whatever, but very serviceable.
Again, back to 5 in terms of looking ahead to the Olympics. We're 4 last time around for the team. You like that, right?
Oh gosh, yeah, definitely. When they made it 4, it used to be 6. It should still be 6, but 5 is better than 4, that's for sure. Nice releases, but they aren't the level of difficulty that the high-flying double flips over the bar. Double twisting, double somersault. Everything he does looks good. Beautiful body position. I think that was that was pretty good.
Solid.
Face, right?
A little cut on his hand.
Yeah, that hurts.
It would, yes.
Let's go!
The life of a gymnast. There are a lot of things they have to deal with.
High bar number 13.75 for Burkhart.
Pretty good number. 8.15 execution score.
Stanford Cardinal continuing on high bar. Asher Hong is at the lead throughout the night. 14.05. What do you make of the what they did with this.
That's a very good score for him. A very good score.
So Asher,
wow,
underway on high bar now.
Remember last year at U.S. Championships, Asher was doing great. He went to this event and stumbled. And that took him out of a locked position for the World Championships. He struggled with this skill in training, and he goes with an easier version of it. A smart decision. But when you do that, when you make a change on the go like that, what you're doing, oh, that was great. Right to a handstand there. You're being a little conservative. Handstand, excellent. That's the way to get it done. You're lowering your potential score. Double, double. Small little hop. That was excellent for Asher Hong. Those two skills, they're called Takamotos. One of them's a full tak, the other a half tak. The best we've seen at this meet so far, and they are nerve-wracking because the issue is you need to go right to a handstand position. But if you challenge that, you have the ability to fall the wrong way. Brody Malone at the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo fell the wrong way, would have had a medal for sure, ended up 4th. So let's watch right here. The one with a full twist. That was really good. Maybe they could take a 10th, but we're seeing this in slow motion, and this one was even better. It's got locked knees. Remember, we saw Yul bend them a little bit, and that should be no deduction at all. Spectacular.
And you're constantly making adjustments, right, through your routines?
Absolutely. It's on the fly.
Let's go, Colt!
Boy, he has just been fantastic.
Let's go, Coot! Come on, Coot!
It's like the bigger the event, and that I don't get that. 8-0 execution score.
Yeah, it's right there with Khoi Young, 13-4.
I'm sorry, I don't get that. That's not right.
All right, Colt Walker made that move into second place through 3 rotations, now on high bar.
He told me that this is a really critical one for him as well. Used to be a big contributor on floor and vault. That injury has limited it somewhat. Ooh. A lot of flight. Watch this one right here. Beautiful, just a simple double backflip over the bar. That is like carbon copy of what we saw Paul Juda do right off the bat on the first event. This is called a Tkachev. It's the first type of Tkachev done, and it was done in straddled position. And once again, I don't know.
You seem to have that. But
well, you have something called a dowel. It's a piece of material between the leather and your fingers. And if you don't get it around the bar, it can be very, very hard to stay on the bar, but I don't know. Doing it again. And he does the combination. Nice dismount, great landing. Love to see that, but a full point for that fall. And thus far, we have seen 2 guys that are kind of bumper guys that could make the team that have fallen on high bar, where Team USA is a little bit weak.
yeah, you wonder how costly that'll be. Again, he was 1.8 points off the lead. Close look at this.
So you saw that dowel. And you know what? Yeah, maybe he didn't have it completely around the bar, but I don't know. See, the problem is when you do them in a row like he's trying to do, you want to be far from the bar. You just can't be far so far that you can't hold on.
So get his number in a moment. Paul Juda made a move on pommel in the last rotation in 7th place.
Beautiful, come on, come on.
Get his effort on still rings moment ago.
Perfect positions. Exactly horizontal to the floor. Has a little bit of a bend in his hips. Only a 1/10 of a point. Beyond that, that was excellent. And here's that Maltese that I thought Fred was short on, and I thought that one was short too.
They didn't agree with you on that.
No, they didn't at all. It's since that fall on high bar, he has been just a rock star. Beautiful handstand position. He just does gorgeous gymnastics. Full twisting double layout. Money on the landing.
You know, he's had perseverance through his career with the injuries and coming back. Helped the U.S. Pan American Championships get an extra spot at the Olympics, and he's come back tonight after that early fall.
Another really high execution score there. Usually this panel, still rings panel. Johnny, what do you think? Am I overreacting here to some of these execution scores?
Well, it's funny because I always harp on the fact that the execution score is too low. They don't reward good execution. But it is interesting that you've seen a few of those jump up. And I think in the long run, I like it, but it doesn't seem as consistent.
It doesn't seem commensurate. Somebody does something that's a little bit better and gets the same or a worse execution score.
And I'll be honest, if there's a flaw, the biggest flaw I think in gymnastics is the execution part of judging. It drives me crazy.
A little complicated on some level too, as you pointed out earlier tonight. A lot of calculations going on. Difficulty thrown in now, the bonus and everything else. Asher Hong's been terrific from the start tonight. Also for his teammates. I mean, that's been the scene the entire night in San Jose. That's wild. Back to tell you, Big Ten football is coming to NBC and Peacock. To kick things off, it's West Virginia taking on Penn State, premiere of Big Ten Saturday night. Here comes Saturday night. Best gymnasts from across America here competing at the Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships. Asher Hong's been terrific. He's had the lead throughout. But Richard, that effort in the last rotation, getting him to second place. And how about the jump for Yul Moldauer? He was outside the top 5. And pommel horse, you mentioned, okay, he's got an opportunity if he does what he's capable of here to make a move, and he did.
And he can get a good score on rings and finish very strong on vault. You know, the only time this year that those top 3 right there competed in the same competition together was the Winter Classic and the Winter Cup, excuse me. And he won. He was the champ.
Johnny, you have more on Yul?
I was just down on the floor and I talked to Yul, and Yul's a character. He competes exactly the opposite of how I competed. He's talking to everybody, he's high-fiving, he's finished his horse routine, and he's cheering for the guy on high bar across the arena. And I went up to him and I said, "How are you feeling?" He goes, "I'm hurting. My wrist is really hurting." And I know I talked to you, Tim, and he said his body's a 10 out of 10. But I talked to him and his coach, and he said, "Man, I haven't been able to do spindles on horse this week." And he said it hurts on rings in the fall script. And he said, "But you know what? You just got to do it. You just got to get through." And he's just a fun competitor. He's loose, and he's in his zone now, I think, after that horse routine.
Wow. Yeah, he told me body feels 10 out of 10. Best I've ever felt in my life. He said last year was murder. My neck, my back, I was having spasms.
So who do we believe?
Maybe he's just willing it into existence, Tim.
There you go.
2 more rotations here, and Yul Moldauer into 3rd place, and who's won the all-around title at the national championships. But that was back in 2017, kind of trying to get back to that form. The disappointment of being an alternate on the World Championship team serving as motivation now.
Yeah, he's actually had a very good year thus far. And a pretty good night. You know, high bar, had some deductions, but overall pretty strong.
So moving over to still rings now in this 5th rotation. Hey, Asher Hong's a bit of a cheerleader too tonight. I mean,
Yeah.
He's not quiet when he's not out there competing.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'll be on floor here in the 5th rotation. So Moldauer with the move in the last rotation, 1.72 off the lead here. It's just night 1, 2 nights in all for the men and the women here in San Jose at the National Championships. And Yul about to get set here on still rings.
Can be a good routine for him. He told me that you might be hungry, but I am starving.
It's a good quote.
Perfect strength positions. That's what the judges are looking for, and it starts right here. Nice Maltese. Back up rise to a planche. Very well done. A little bit of bent elbows on that. Shows beautiful just work. Watch this right here, right to that cross. He has actually changed around his still rings quite a bit from last year. Almost completely different choreographed routine. Watch this right here. Does he land in the cross? Pretty good. A little bit high. He arrived a little bit above where he needed to be, but dismount double. And that's Yul Moldauer right there. Stuck perfectly, just beautiful gymnastics.
He does make a habit of that, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. So this is interesting. I think this was a better executed routine than we saw from Fred Richards or Paul Juda, but it's not going to get us the same execution score.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
All right, we'll wait for that. Over on vault now. There is the man you just mentioned, Fred Richard, here getting set in 2nd place, right behind Asher Hong.
And he is actually hoping for the World Championships to add a half twist to this vault. If he does, it becomes 4/10 more difficult, puts him at a different level. It's a vault that Marian Dragulescu from Romania popularized, but this is just double front. Got to get that landing, and a big step, and then another step forward as well. If he had caught himself after he took that big step forward and then brought his leg back, it would have been only one step. But when you bring the other leg to meet, those pens and pencils hit paper.
So we'll see those deductions in a moment, see what the number is for Fred. Meanwhile, another man who made a move in the last rotation, up to 4th overall, Donnell Wittenberg, parallel bars.
Such a powerful young man. As I said earlier in the show, that was a little scary right there. The way he did that, didn't really get his hand on the bar quickly. And that right there, big deduction. He was supposed to go right to a handstand. He had to do what's called an intermediate swing. A punishing routine. Nice release skill. And a very good job today. Beautiful double front with a half. Sticks that landing, but he's got that big deduction in the middle where he went to a handstand, didn't hold it, and had to add that extra swing.
So that problem there, but it's been a good night for Donnell Wittenberg.
Absolutely.
All right, what do you think?
An 8.5, a half a point lower,
Shout out
basically,
Colorado.
There you go.
than we've seen. And I don't know.
13.75, the number on vault. Remember the step and the extra step.
And that's interesting. They're saying there was a 3/10 of a point penalty. They're saying both legs were out of bounds.
Yep. Khoi Young now on floor, man in fifth going into this rotation.
That was gorgeous. Super difficult combination. And you have to be so patient on a landing like that. And he is doing that. It is so hard to do, so easy to second guess yourself. Second guess, do I have this? You move your foot a little quickly. Not him, not today. Oh, baby. This is off the charts great. Doesn't have the highest level of difficulty in the competition, but thus far he's doing something that we haven't really seen. Shane Wiskus did a great floor routine also, but he has not taken a visible step thus far. Tricky dismount to stick right here. 2.5 twist. Holy mackerel. No steps, no hops.
I think this is interesting right here because as you look at what events everybody has left, Asher's on floor and Khoi is sitting in 5th place with pommel horse yet to go. And I think Fred Richard lost a big opportunity there on vault. He needed to hit a clean vault because I think Khoi can move up. And with Asher ending on pommel horse, a lower scoring event, guys like Yul and Khoi, look out. They're going to push that leader spot, I think.
And the number for Khoi on high bar in the last rotation higher than maybe you expected too. It's right there with Asher Hong.
It was, absolutely.
13.45. Remember that problem in the middle of the routine for Donnell Wittenberg on parallel bars. All right, man who's gotten better and better throughout the evening, Paul Juda in 7th going into this rotation. And a moment ago on vault.
He won the NCAA all-around title with this exact vault. Defeated Brody Malone for that championships. He's actually capable of doing the same vault that the GOAT, Simone Biles, does, a Yurchenko double pike. He did that a couple of weeks ago and did it great.
He said Simone did it better, though?
Yeah, I said, who did it better? He goes, oh, gosh, not even close.
There's the number for floor exercise, 14.65 for Khoi Young, and now it's Asher Hong on floor.
And this guy, he can land, but he also comes with guns blaring. He has super difficulty. Nicely done. So challenging.
Oh, wow.
And you could see that coming. He was not screwing up on the first tumbling pass. Full point off. Double laid out. The step and out of bounds with 1 foot, a 10th. Asher has been, for him, nearly flawless tonight. When you do those combination skills, you do an aerial type element. He does a front with a full and a laid out position right into a double pike. If your body position is not proper on the takeoff like that right there, and that was fine, it makes it so very, very hard. Triple twist, little bit funky on that landing. Well,
Going to be interesting to see what the number is for this.
absolutely, that door just swung, and it didn't just crack a little bit. It swung pretty wide on that routine.
Fred Richard, not the number he wanted on vault here, but you've got Moldauer, you've got Wittenberg, you've got Khoi Young with that performance just a moment ago. A chance to move up.
And Khoi going to his very best event.
Yep.
Pommel horse. So the first pass was excellent. Very challenging. Double twist into a double front. Easy. Just a little bit over, 1/10 of a point hop. But this is what went wrong. He wasn't in a good position at the end of this skill right here. Front with a full. It's a little bit low, a little under-rotated. And because of that, he kind of buckles his legs and it's probably 1.5 feet, 2 feet lower than he would typically be.
Lower in the air.
Lower in the air.
Yeah.
His body was just, didn't have, he could have pulled that around. I'm sure he was pulling, but he probably didn't want to go too hard. We say that all the time. These front landing dismounts, landings are so hard.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Khoi Young scoring for the highest score of the entire competition. You have Asher, who just made that mistake. It's going to get really tight. Khoi's only less than 2/10 behind Yul with one rotation to go. I'm curious to see Khoi's horse against Yul's vault. maybe for the #1 spot after night one. And I will add this. There's only been 4 guys in the last 15 years that haven't led after the first day that have won national championships.
Wow. Khoi Young, by the way, in 5th going into this rotation. Yul Moldauer in 3rd. There's the number for Asher Hall.
Ouch. 7.5 execution score. That can be well over a point better.
Announcement for Colt Walker in 6th, so just outside the top 5 going into this rotation.
It's back injury that translates to a weaker foot, and calf really limits him on floor exercise relative to what he was capable before the injury. Kind of disappeared from the scene for a very long time after those 2021 World Championships. Glad to see him back, though. He's another one that said to me that one of my major goals is I want to show people, I want them to know that I can be counted on. Silly little mistake right there. Was pressing up to a handstand and had to reverse direction and then go back up again. Be a small deduction. Wow, another great landing on a tricky dismounting skill.
It's a body of work, too, over the years, isn't it? That you get people to trust in what you can do out there. Yes, this week it comes down to this and your numbers and everything else being part of that highest scoring team. But long term, you do earn that reputation or not.
Yeah, well, he was great in the trials process leading up to the 2021 Worlds, but he faltered, and 2022 Worlds. He faltered, and that's what he's thinking about. That's what he's thinking. People remember that. They remember me not being like I usually am.
Top 3 in parallel bars and vault last time around at the U.S. Championships. Just outside the top 5 coming into this rotation. Remember, it is 2 nights of competition, so the numbers, not like you're going to have a winner tonight.
Yeah, it's only halfway through.
8.65 for execution and 13.55 overall. All right, this man's waited all night. Steven Nedoroscik, the 24-year-old Mr. Mass, and a man who was the world pommel horse champion, gold medalist back in 2021, first ever world title for the U.S. in that event. His only event tonight.
And at the last Worlds, 2022, he was chosen purely because of this event. Really tricky right here, and that's a bit of a problem. Some form, and now he's got just a ton of difficulty. Watch these full spins on one arm. He'll do another one the other way right here. Watch, he puts his hand down backwards. That was an amazing save though, because he was way off on that transition from a flare to the handstand and back down. A little bit slow getting up to a handstand, but a phenomenal fight from Steve Nedoroscik.
He's a character too.
Yeah.
He really is. How difficult must it be too to wait around? He's gotten used to it. This is what he does, but to wait around all night on one event.
The absolute worst.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. I was walking across the floor and I saw Steven, and he is a character, smile on his face, and I said, how you doing? Are you ready to go? How do you stay focused? And he goes, well, I just took a one-touch on floor exercise when his team went to floor, and he goes, you know what? I'm cheering for the guys. I'm ready to go. I'm locked in, and he got it done there. A little rough, but he got it done.
I waited so long to do that. Man, I'll tell you what, my heart was racing. I was pretty nervous, but I'm proud that I got through that. Busanari is my biggest upgrade yet, and it feels really good to do it at this stage.
That Busanari is the skill that he had a little bit of a problem on and was able to save it by sheer will. I'll tell you, really, it was by sheer will that he was able to continue his circle.
No glasses. Some people might not recognize him without the glasses. There you go. There we go.
He didn't really need the glasses. He got it for a gag gift.
Exactly. And then because he had a great routine, he just kept wearing them. It became a thing.
Hey,
no more?
That's not too bad.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, I knew there'd be more.
I'm happy with it. I waited a long time. Day 2, it's going to be first event. Let's go. It's been a while since I had horse first, bro. I know, bro. Deserve it.
Looking ahead to day 2 will be up first. Yeah, won't have to wait.
Got to come out of your shell, Steven.
Best number we've seen.
Come on, AK. Ready to work, buddy. Come on. Come on, AK. You got this. Yeah. Ready to go. Come on. Let's go now. Come on. Go. Stay with it. You got it. Come on.
But he needs another big routine Saturday night on pommel horse to be in consideration for a team position, because pommel horse, that's it. That's all he can do. That's why he was chosen for the 2022 World Championships.
I was going to just listen to him for a while, but go to Riley Loos now in 8th after 4 rotations here on floor in rotation number 5.
And this is a good event for Riley.
You got to be the worst when you wait like that.
Oh, yeah. You know what, though? They've been doing this their entire lives. Since they were little kids. But very solid here, and he's gotten a lot better on pommel horse, his next and final event. But not his strongest there. Wants a really clean routine, and if he can get those landings like we've seen, pretty good. 3/10 hop though. And another one right there. Big hop on that one. He'll lose more than 3/10 for that. He is so physically strong. Watch this. This is so cool. Just like a monster. Maltese position on floor exercise. Needs to stick this one because it's his easiest one, and there's a little bit of a slide there. Another little hop. It's an excellent routine. but not as perfect as we've seen. Like Khoi Young, that's a big step on that landing. It's a good routine. He survives it, but it can be better.
So moved outside the top 5 in that last rotation. We'll see what the number is here. The floor for Riley Loos. As we are nearing the end of this rotation with one left. Take you back to earlier, though, in this rotation, Shane Wiskus and his effort on pommel horse.
Shane told us that he thinks he's just about at the point where he could not just be used in the qualifying of a Worlds or Olympics, but a 3-up, 3-count team final score. Ever since he was a little kid, I thought he was very good on horse, but he always seemed to doubt himself. He's gotten better at that. Good routine, a little bit slow getting up to that handstand, a little bit clunky, but that's a hit set on pommel horse, that's for sure.
Well, he was in the top 10. He was in 9th heading into that rotation, so we'll see if he can make a move up towards the top 5. 13.65, the execution 8.150. He'll finish up on still range in this final rotation.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for our last rotation.
So one rotation left. Here in San Jose, the opening night for the men. SAP Center here, which has got used to hosting national championships, have figure skating nationals in January. Some of us were here for that. And back again for gymnastics. There's the man who's led throughout the night. Back to remind you, the NFL season kicks off Thursday, September 7th. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs hosting the Detroit Lions Thursday, September 7th, only on NBC and Peacock. Beautiful night in San Jose inside the SAP Center. Asher Hong, who's had the lead throughout the evening, but Moldauer and Khoi Young, big moves in that last rotation. So one rotation left for the men here in the opening night. Tim, your thoughts on what you've seen and what we may see here in the final rotation?
Well, we've seen some mistakes. You know, both Fred and Asher Hong haven't been perfect, that's for sure. But it's better to look forward. What is the last event that they're finishing up on? And Asher goes to pommel horse, which is nerve-wracking. And he sometimes gets a little bit cautious there. Yul Moldauer, it's a walk in the park. He's going to vault, and he has been doing this vault forever. So that's a good one. Khoi Young going to his absolute best event, pommel horse. He can get a big number there.
So Young with a move in the last rotation. Moldauer a move throughout the evening. He's gotten better and better as we've gone on here. So well positioned behind Asher Hong. And Asher's had that lead throughout the evening. But we'll see here in the final rotation. And John pointed out earlier, it is important who has the lead going to the second night. Just traditionally, historically, yes, you can have the lead and lose it on night 2, but awfully nice to have that lead going into the second day of competition.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, Tim, you talked about the scores and who's got the advantage going into the last event. I just kind of broke down the numbers a little bit. Going into pommel horse, you know, Asher's got the lead. He starts at a 16.3. He's supposed to. Khoi Young starts at a 16.6. So slight advantage to Khoi Young in the start value. But if you look back at the classics 2 weeks ago, Asher Hong went 12.352 on horse. Obviously didn't go well for him, where Khoi Young went 14.872. So really, if you look at it, start values are close to him, but don't you think Khoi Young's got that advantage in execution over a very risky horse routine for Asher Hong? It wouldn't be shocking, I think, to see Khoi Young leapfrogging, but if you look at Yul now, he's on vault. A 15.2 start value, an event that he hits very clean. It could be Yul's. These three guys
absolutely are
going to be battling so close after this sixth and final rotation. It's going to be razor thin.
It's going to be tight, that's for sure. The guy that's winning the way, I would say he's got the biggest task. Asher Hong has been leading, as you said, Terry, throughout the entire night. But pommel horse is really a tough event, and it's an event where being like a daredevil, a trickster, like Asher Hong is, that doesn't help at all on pommel horse.
Question. It was only a few weeks ago in suburban Chicago at the Classic, but you're trying to peak at the right time, which is pretty much now. The world selection being made for the World Championship team on Sunday. How much of a difference between these names just a couple of weeks ago and right now would you see?
Oh, I think, they are definitely trying to ramp up. There's no question they didn't want to be at their peak for the U.S. Classic. It didn't count at all in the selection of this team. So they are trying to peak, and hopefully, if you know you're going to make the team, then you don't even want to peak here. You want to peak at the World Championships, obviously.
If you know you're going to make the team, which is not a given. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we are set for the final rotation of the night for the men. Take you over to High Bar and Donnell Wittenberg just about set. Just outside the top 5 for Donnell heading into this final rotation.
And this is an event that Donnell has had some problems on in the past. He's capable of adding a pretty new big skill, that full twisting Tkachev or Lukin. Let's look at the handstand positions. Not bad. Oh, and he does it in connection. Another handstand skill right here. Little bit of form, probably a 3/10 deduction for angle as well. Is not going to do that major release I talked about. Wow, he's been great landing-wise tonight, and really a pretty darn strong effort on 6 out of 6. Just that one little mishap on parallel bars where he took that extra swing, but overall, as good as I've seen him look in a long, long time.
Yeah, he's got to be happy with the 6 rotations here in the opening night, and even on parallel bars, ended up pretty well, and the finish was good. So the 29-year-old recently turned 29, still eyeing the Olympics.
Yeah, it's his third go-round, and in 2016, before the Olympic trials, I would have said that he was a lock, just about a lock, and he did not have the performances that the selection committee believed he needed to have. He told me that he absolutely thought he had done enough to be on that Olympic team, but he was not selected.
Alternate that year, Rio. Final event of the night for Khoi Young, who has moved up into 3rd place. He is right in the mix, and a big opportunity now.
We saw Steven Nedoroscik, and he was very good on horse. This guy is as smooth, in my opinion. He's like silk. Just makes everything look so effortless. Big element right here. Very well done. Great extension. Lots of clearance. His hips are way above the pommels, as you can see right there. Exactly what the judges are looking for. Really, really good routine. Oh boy, struggles right there. Just got to get to a handstand here.
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy, and he is looking over at coaches and judges, and they are wondering if that was going to be given dismount credit. And one of the head judges over there, Michael Ash, on the panel, is one of the toughest judges I've ever seen, and
it will.
He's certainly going to get a deduction. If he had flown up to the handstand, I think he could have ended up on top of even Steven Nedoroscik, but
there was that discussion along with his coach, and then they finally said yes.
look at how high his hips are. And then flies up in that handstand and right back down. That's where Nedoroscik had a little bit of a problem. But he got a little bit off right here. Probably rattled him just a bit, and also fatiguing makes it so much harder. He has to struggle so hard to just stay on the horse, to keep circling right there. Makes him a little bit more tired. Supposed to fly up to a handstand and do some extra pirouettes. And that right there, I think they're gonna call that a B dismount. Supposed to do a D dismount, so he'll lose about a half a point.
And that is devastating right there, because I was about to tell you we're going to have a new leader if he finished that routine the way he should have. I ran over there by the pommel horse, and there was some discussion amongst the judges. They weren't sure.
Right.
And then eventually, as I've been told, they decided to give him credit. But, man, a devastating moment, and that's the event, Tim, you mentioned it. He helps Team USA, and that was a big mistake, unfortunately, for Khoi.
Yeah, a big mistake for Khoi, because to make that world championship team, he really contributes on pommel horse and vault.
Asher Hung now back to back.
Talked to his coach Tom Galimi before the event, and he said backing off on the difficulty a little bit for this routine. No Busanara, no going up to a handstand and back down. This panel has been brutal to him in the past. Nice dismount, but not what he was supposed to do. That'll cost him 0.3 of a point difficulty value.
Just thinking about the numbers, he was a little more than a point ahead of Khoi Young, who was in third place going into this rotation. Yul Moldauer, well situated. He'll be the last man to go on vault, less than 0.9 of a point out of first place.
Yeah, it's, we've been talking about it, John and I, throughout the weekend, and we thought it would come down to these three athletes. We thought Fred Richard would be a little bit higher up, certainly. So here's that dismount. Once again, he's supposed to go up and turn in a handstand. He doesn't, so he loses 1/10 for that skill. But you have to do a devalued skill for your dismount, and if you don't, they take away 2 more tenths.
Woo. Let's go. Good day one. Praise the Lord. We needed an organ, though. Chocolate milk.
It has been a good day one.
Let's go, Coach!
What do you make of the numbers?
Yeah, he takes it on the chin. That's 7.85. This panel, as I've said, he has done routines before where I thought they were too brutal to him. It's not as brutal as I've seen in the past, but a little bit of a missed opportunity because he took that simple skill out right at the end.
All right. Huge opportunity for Yul Moldauer in second after rotation 5. He's better than 14.31, just to give you an idea. So he's a little less than 0.9 out of the lead.
Looking for a stick here, and it can happen. Small hop forward. That was good, not great for him. Very good. Going to be quite close, though.
It is going to be close, isn't it?
It's going to be close. He was so angry being left off that world team for 2022. Said he was going to use it for motivation from here on out. 2.5 twist. Has a maximum starting score of 15.2. And that could be a 1/10 hop. It's they tend to not give that, but.
One more day.
Nope. Not going to be
Shout out
enough.
to the gym back at home for always helping me.
14.25. He needed
Glad in arena.
14.317.
Love you guys and all the fans. Thank you.
So it is so close, but it is Asher Hong still with the lead here on night one. Called Juda, who's moved up consistently throughout the night. And a few moments ago, his effort on parallel bars.
Very, very beautiful whippet type skill. Nice release. Great lines. A little bit, move, you see him move that hand? That's 1/10 of a point. Didn't really need to do that. Nice routine, double front. Great landing. Doesn't have the highest level of difficulty, but a really solid routine for him. Just that fall on the first event.
Yeah, the high bar trouble, and then he's worked his way back. He's been terrific since then.
Shout out Batman.
And started this rotation just 1.3 points off the lead.
4-6. 4-6. 14 what? 6.
Giving you the numbers. No, okay. We'll trust you. Riley Loos, pommel horse to finish up here. He's in the top 5 throughout the first 3 rotations, outside the top 5 now.
And he's much improved on this event. Does a really, really difficult element, but sometimes he gets a little bit tight. It's so easy to get, when you get nervous, you get a little bit tight with your circle. Makes it easier to have little errors. That was shy of a handstand too. So here we go for him. This one pommel work right here. Nicely done. And another one right here. Pretty good. And right up to a handstand. About as good as he can do. So a great job for Riley Loos.
22-year-old from El Dorado Hills, California, to start at Stanford. It's a busy coach, huh?
Yeah.
Tired. That was a good day. Ready for 6 more on Saturday.
Fred Richard, remember, top 5 going into the final rotation, and his last apparatus, parallel bars. Here's what he did here.
New element for him. See if he does it. It's a front uprise. Stutz would be right here. Nicely done, but in actuality, that costs him more than he gets for it, without a doubt. He has a higher maximum potential, but those steps in the handstand and the body position. But I think he's doing it right. He is pushing and pushing, trying to do gymnastics difficulty that is on par with Bohan and Daike Hashimoto of Japan. Another little hand step right there. A little shy of the handstand also. Nice double front.
So that was earlier in this rotation. At the time, he needed 14.846 to take the lead, so shy of that, but 14.7 the number.
Pretty darn good.
Yeah. And Riley Loos for pommel horse. Execution is 8.13.5, the number for him. All right, still in inspection. Alex Diab, the 26-year-old from Glen Ellen, Illinois.
You see that left leg, you can see underneath the pants. He's wearing a brace on his knee. Tore some ligaments at the Winter Cup. He's really strong. Very good start. We just had that discussion about people that don't do a D-level dismount. You lose some tenths, and because of that, he will not do a D-level dismount. He told me he's only doing a double layout, which is a C. Very, very good position right there. Nice Maltese, held extremely well. And a beautiful bounce to a cross. So exhausted at this point. All of those strength moves, some of the hardest in the world. Double layout, good stick. Should get a very good number.
Second last year on rings at the national championships, but a two-time national champ, 2019 and 2021. And there is that number. Got to be frustrating when you know you can't put your best out there because of an injury, though.
Oh, gosh, absolutely. Without a doubt. And, you know, I mean, he was so close. He was in the running to be a part of that Tokyo Olympic team, fell just a little bit short, and then was in the running to make the world team, and once again it didn't really happen.
High bar 13.5 for Donnell Wittenberg. Yeah, Diab was an alternate for the Olympics last time around, so he was right there. Boy, it's been close tonight.
And that's a good score for Donnell Wittenberg. That 8.3 execution, really good job for him.
Just running the numbers. Basically less than a point separating the top four, so should be some night too.
And I'm loving it because it has not been like that in a long, long time. The people that have won have been runaway winners.
Yeah, Tim, you mentioned it, and I'm right there because I got the numbers in front of me. You know, going back to 2013, the smallest margin of victory was 2014, and that was 0.8 of a point. Every other margin of victory is about 2 points or more, with the biggest one being about 6 points. We have not had a nail-biter at U.S. Championships probably since Tim Daggett won in 1986.
You know what, though, John? It's an excellent point, and it bodes well to something you said at the top of the show. There are more guys in the hunt, and that's going to lift the entire boat of Team USA. They believe that. I believe it as well.
Well, there's been movement, too. It's not just that it's been close throughout. It's different names who've jumped into the top five, who were outside and made a move. While Juda certainly got better as the night went on, and Moldauer and Khoi Young also moved up. Team Stanford with a huddle. All right, how about what Shane Wiskus did a little bit earlier here in 10th place after the 5th rotation, and he finished up on rings.
And he also doesn't have the highest starting score here, but he is really clean. And for those 2-second holds, back up rise planche, nicely done. This is a Maltese. He lowers down into it. Pretty good. One more back up rise Maltese. Definitely held that for 2 seconds, so that was very strong. You're only allowed to do 3 strength moves in a row. Then you have to do a swing element, and that combination right there is done around the world. 2 double flipping skills. Saw him stick the heck out of a floor routine. Double twisting double right here. Hop forward on that. That's a 3/10 hop, but very strong routine for Shane.
How do you judge the night for him, though?
You know, he was good, but he had mistakes. And, you know, he had big mistakes as well. Coming off the bar and then falling, you know, it's a little bit fell on parallel bars on his dismount, that double front.
This man who made the Olympics. He was part of that team in Tokyo.
Yeah, he can't really have many more falls and think that he's going to make that trip to Belgium.
Those are where the World Championships are taking place. Huddle continues for Team Stanford. All right, now they finally break that. A little less than a half hour from where we are, the campus Palo Alto. So terrific night one. Asher Hong right there looking ahead to the second night of competition. The 2023 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships are brought to you by Core Hydration. Core Hydration believes that wellness is whatever works for you. Find your balance, find your core. By Prevagen. By Angie. Visit Angie.com to connect with skilled professionals for all your home projects. And by Xfinity, the Xfinity 10G network. The future starts now. Great opening night here to this Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championship for the men. Look how close it is. Basically 7/100ths of a point separating the top two. Fred Richards right there. Khoi Young is less than a point out of the lead. Paul Juda progressively got better as the night went on. Just 1.2 and change off of that lead of Asher Hong. As we send it over to John.
Thanks, Terry. Asher, it's been quite a year for you. Now you're looking at the top spot after day one of the U.S. Championships. Evaluate your performance.
Everything felt pretty good. Happy about everything so far. Just a little hiccup on floor, and that was kind of like just a technical error. But other than that, I'm really glad I hit high bar, had a solid performance in high bar. Ended with horse, scored a decent score, and yeah, just overall happy with the day.
Very good. Yul, you're one of the Olympians competing on the floor at this U.S. Championships. Currently sitting in the second spot. Razor thin competition. What do you have to do different night two?
Today was all about just getting in, hitting sets and getting out. Saturdays we let loose, let the energy come out and really put on a show. So overall, I'm glad that everyone, stayed safe, got through routines, and I'm excited that it's a close battle. I knew this championships would be fun, and it's going to be even more fun on Saturday.
Well, good luck to both of you, and congratulations on night one. Terry?
I agree with that. It was fun tonight, and we can't wait till night two. It's going to be great. Well, we take a look at today's powerful performance presented by the Xfinity 10G network. The Xfinity 10G network gives you a powerful connection today for a faster, more reliable tomorrow. The next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. A couple of back-to-back vaults here, Tim.
And this one was, I think, the most perfect piece of gymnastics we saw all night. Look at that. So difficult and just rocks the house on the landing. Khoi Young, he's something else. And then you've got Asher Hong doing the hardest vault being done in the world 3 times around with 2 flips. Not quite as well executed, and he steps over that line, but still a huge vault with a huge number.
2 of the top names here as we look ahead to the second night of competition. Hey, good to be back with you, man.
Thank you.
All right.
Absolutely.
Got another night as well. So that does it for night one of the men's competition. Remember, you can watch all the routines at the USA Gymnastics YouTube channel. Hong, Moldauer, Richard, the top 3 here on night one. For John Roethlisberger, Tim Daggett, and our entire NBC Sports crew, I'm Terry Gannon saying so long for now from San Jose and the 2023 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships.